support. So, folks, like I said, we're going to try something a little different this year. We're really going to try to delve into people's mind, even though an hour really is not that much time when you think about it. But we really want to start promoting this idea of excellence and really pushing young people to push themselves for excellence, excellence in their personal relationships, professional relationships, whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. Really just want you to push yourself to really exceed and excel. Now, if your dream is just to be, you know, a mother, or a father, or something that people might say, well, oh no, big thing in that. I mean, whatever your dream is, whatever your goal is, if you want to take over the world, if you want to be a prime minister, if you want to run a conglomerate, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, we really just want you to excel. So the hour of influence is really about finding those people who are really on top of their game, or really close to on top of their game, that we could kind of, splice their brain open and see what's going on and how they really get this excellence thing done and this accomplishment thing done. Because I think a lot of people, they might look at some people and say, I don't have what she has, so I can't have what she has. But the truth of the matter is we're actually, we're more equal than we give ourselves credit for. So we're going to hear what the ingredients are to success and excellence. We're going to hear, their own personal stories, what drives them, what drives them and what pushes them to do the things that they are doing. So first up on the Influence Hour, I have one of my personal friends. She just happened to be here because she was supposed to come on last year, but all sorts of things were going on. Last December, we kept having to postpone and push back, and but she's here. I'm gonna try not to tell her story for her. I'm going to let her talk. So we have in studio with us today Desi Brown. Hi, Desi. How are you?
Hi, Jihan. I'm fine, thanks. And greetings to everyone out there listening.
Okay. So, Desi Brown. What is Desi Brown? What Desi Brown really, who is Desi Brown?
Well,
and don't get all philosophical on me.
I mean, try not to. I'll try not to. In most recent times, most people know me as a young entrepreneur, an outgoing, life of the party, social butterfly, a go-getter, overachiever, somebody who loves to assist and I guess do a little bit more than the average individual.
Okay, so you're an entrepreneur. What's your business?
I am the owner and founder of Poise SKN, which is a multidiscipline company that offers services in dance, pageantry, and promotional marketing.
Okay. So, what sort of, you said dance, pageantry, and promotional marketing. So you have this company, you started the company, you're the head of the company. Okay. So how many people are, under your tutelage?
There are about 167. So we have students in our junior department, we have an aerial department, we have promotional models, and a few clients in pageantry who are probably now ongoing a few more ventures with me. They haven't stopped yet. So about 167.
Okay. And that includes your promotional
the promotional team.
Models and so on.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Azure. Yes, Azure, we see you. Hey there. Just as a reminder as well, if you're listening on the radio and you want to see the faces of the people who are talking, we are live on Facebook. You just go to the Freedom FM 106.5 page, and we're right there. And if you have questions for Desi, we could take them. We're looking at the live feed right now, and we may open up the lines. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. If the conversation is going really well, probably not, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So Desi, so you started Poise SKN. Like, What was the motivation for you to start that?
Oh gosh, this is a story that goes way back, and I can't make it very short, so I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Back in, for as long as I've known myself, I've always wanted to do something in dance or in the creative arts and entertainment, because I've always seen an opportunity to either make a contribution or try to expand it. And I mean, all of the years I was hoping, when you have those ideas, nobody ever starts them before you until you get the time to do it. At the age of I was 18 when I felt exhausted from being in this space. I was in Skype. I was volunteering with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I was volunteering with the Ministry of Youth. I was doing so much. I felt like I was stuck after a while. Like I needed to get out of St. Kitts and do something and come back fresh. So I left when I was 19 to go to Jamaica, and I studied international relations. Every time I say that, people go like, "Why? I thought you studied that?" Because you don't post books. You just most of my time there, I did a lot of dancing. Spent a lot of time around different companies. I even started the Dance Society on Hall, and I was doing a lot of work in creative arts and left my mark on the university and my hall, of course. So it was kind of inevitable that I do something. But it was in 2014 when I was given the opportunity to do a internship in the summer, because I was performing at the top 25 of my class out of 650 students. And the school tried to get me an internship in St. Kitts or connected to St. Kitts, because my main goal really was to go to school in Jamaica and learn more about the region so that I can make my contribution here, because I really never wanted to migrate from St. Kitts at all. And so I was like, I'm going to come back home. I didn't want to stay in Jamaica. I'm going to just do what I love and things. So no matter what, placing me was very challenging. Even though I would have had experience volunteering with different ministries. I mean, they say you should do all these things so that when it's time for you to get a job, you can get one. And that had proven to be very challenging. So I asked my parents to go and spend some time with my grandmother in Stacia. So I spent about a week and a half there. She had no internet. So I know I would have been able to concentrate on the things that I was doing. And I started writing poems and I read this book called Developing Creative Communities. And it really sparked something in me that I could do something like this. Like we already had a creative community, but I really at that time felt like, okay, this is probably my moment now, since I can't be assigned anywhere to do any work in international relations or foreign affairs or any of that kind of policy making, all that lovely stuff that I still absolutely love. I would do something or create something that would I could do probably when I'm finished with school or maybe started in school. So I started writing. And for me to come up with something, I was like, what am I going to create? What am I going to do? So I started writing down all the things I was passionate about. So I used to do promotional modeling. I did promotional dancing. I danced, of course. And I was always interested in pageantry. I was at a thing for pageantry. I didn't talk about it much. I didn't go posting everywhere when they had every different pageant that I was following it. But I'm like a super pageant hawk. Like you can ask me about any person who won any pageant in the region, in the world. Like I'm really paying attention to these things because I like it and I like what it does for young women. So I put it all together and it was, those words, passion, poise and power and all these things that people used to refer to me as when I performed. Persons always told me the impact that I had on them.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, let me use the word poise. And then I thought of it as a movement and not just a business. So it was Poise SKN. So I'm going to poise St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm going to want people to join me on the journey to poise St. Kitts and Nevis. And I was like, okay, this sounds super cool. So then what could my tagline be? Thinking about what are the things that I am really guided by. And then I actually started using those words and brainstorming and putting everything on paper. And I started pulling things together. I actually have a knack for writing too. So that's something that I used to do journalism with my dad. So that's something I would have gotten from him. Most people would have known that I did a bit of work with him during my teenage years when he had the radio station Kiss FM. And so I definitely had, I guess, that skill for me to be able to write, because it's usually not that easy for most people. But I was able to tap into that inner self and try to bring out everything. So I came up with Poise SKN, and then the slogan that we have is to be guided by your passion, power, and purpose. Something else that I wanted to focus on was actually, as a teenager, I was bullied a lot for how I look. I was tall, lanky, Indian hair, Indian nose. I look different from everybody. And then I always like to be in things. People like to tell me that still. Like to be in things, right? You're enough, you like to be in things.
Oh, we gonna talk about this like to be in things thing, yeah.
And I always found it, I don't think I was offended by it, but I used to defend myself a lot about, if you ain't doing it, that don't mean I shouldn't do it, and that kind of thing. And I was a bit feisty. I don't want to say just a bit. I was a lot feisty. Okay? I wasn't always the perfect child, but I always had issues with persons, picking on me and telling me, you always want to do this, you always want to do that, you can't dance, you can't this, you can't that. And I thought, we had a problem with confidence. And that really spiraled everything what Poise SKN is now. Like, wanting to make people understand that being confident is okay, and it's not that you're enough and you like to be in things, or showing up should not be an issue, because it's only the people who show up get opportunities. And
Yes,
that's something
ma'am.
I've experienced throughout my entire life. I wasn't perfect. I had a lot of grooming to do. We'll talk about it, but all of that helped me to kind of be confident in what I was building. I shared the ideas that I had, because it was a lot, with a lot of my mentors, and they were like, oh no, that's not gonna work, that's not gonna be impactful, or people not gonna like that, we tried that already, and blah blah blah. But my main reason for going to Jamaica was really for me to learn or get an idea of what their blueprint for the arts is, and try as much as possible to learn from them. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? And then how can I fit it into our space? So all the opportunities of training with, and I would say Scanaba had a huge impact on me.
Okay.
For those of you who are thinking about signing up, you should. It had a huge impact on me. My membership was short-lived. I only spent about 2 years. But I must say that was the space in which I realized that a lot of people had faith in me and really believed that I could do something. I still doubted myself, still went into university thinking, well, why is everybody praising me for the little things that I'm accustomed to do? Like, you go and you start this thing and you win in competitions and blah, blah, blah. And I had to put all of that into what the movement of Poise SKN meant, and how I was going to evolve as an individual with Poise SKN to make Poise SKN impactful and try not to listen to everyone. And then I just did it. I came home, I couldn't get a job. So that was 2014, 2015, 2016. I wrote it, rewrite it, everything for 3 years. And I came home in 2016 with the same issue. I couldn't get a job. And I was like, I'm going to have to do this. I have to buy it with $0. Let me say that. I had $0 in my bank account because I volunteered for everything. I gave my life for everything. My parents had a problem with that. They're business people. They want to know why you're giving so much of yourself and not getting anything. But I did a lot of things that I did just for doing it and growing sake. And, giving back, because I felt like I gained a lot from living in different communities and being around different people. So I wanted to give back. And Poise SKN started in 2016, and we're going to be turning 4 in May.
Okay. Well, that's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot. But I'm writing and taking notes as you talk, and I'm already noticing your Shal is here. Kaylan and I are watching with a lot of dancing ladies. You have Wasim Richard saying, watching you, buddy. Dylan DeFreitas.
Yes.
Is that
Aerialist.
Yes, there's Poise SKN to the world.
But-
And, interestingly, when you were talking, it's only when you just said, like, you're trying to poise SKN. I just noticed that connection, because I always thought what you were probably going to do is like Poise St. Lucia and Poise
Eventually.
Anguilla and Poise whatever. So this is just the SKN version.
Yes.
But I just realized that's pretty cool. I like the double meaning things. So the first question I want to ask you, based on what you just said, like, where did the whole international relations thing come from? I mean, if you're passionate about dance and you're thinking about creating and so on, it sort of was like your buffer based on what you're saying. I just want to understand it's like the concern that dance is not going to. Is it out of that? Like, dance is not going to give you a job?
I would say that, because what happened was, after I joined Skanaipa, like the young men spoke about, there are opportunities or doors that open for you that you actually never thought that were there. Mm-hmm. So after joining Skanaipa and doing quite a bit of work in youth activism, I actually was awarded at I was one of the first remarkable teens. Mm-hmm. That was in 2011, and that was the first time that I started seeing how capable I was at representing my country. So I spent a lot of my years, I did not know what I wanted to be at all. The only constant.
Please tell people that there's nothing wrong with that. Please.
There isn't anything wrong with it. I mean, my parents and I went back and forth for years. I was like, I want to be a police. I want to be a chemist. I want to be a computer scientist. Like, I had so many interests that I could not narrow down one thing. Mm-hmm. So when I went to school, I actually did this thing where I picked everything. I did science, I did technology, I did business. So everything was already there for me to choose from. Mm-hmm. I went to college, I chose law. Then when I joined Skanaipa in around fifth form, and I was always given the opportunity to represent my school, and then I was given the opportunity to represent my country on several occasions, and being exposed to a lot of international representatives, and thinking, okay, I like dance, I like the idea of culture. So I performed outside. I've been to Taiwan, I've been to Paris, I've been to Connecticut, I've been to quite a few places where I had to represent St. Kitts, and I was always the youngest in the room, and I had a huge impact. And that's when I started realizing maybe I might get into politics, or maybe because
we're gonna talk about
most people don't really think of international relations as politics, but I guess that's something we can talk about later. Mm-hmm. But I was like, okay, this looks like something I could do. Then I started telling my dad I wanted to do public health, and he was like, what? Wait, how are you gonna make money? I was like, okay, maybe not that. Let me go back to the drawing board. And I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I went to CFB and I studied law. I did law. And that's really something I was passionate about. And then I had a Kennedy, Pemberton, was very instrumental in trying to help me to narrow down a career path. He sat down with me because I volunteered, like I said, with the Ministry of Youth. And he was like, Desi, what you want to do? I was like, man, no, I have no idea. They tried to make me stay back in St. Kitts to become, I think it was the CARICOM Youth Ambassador.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way, I'm tired. I can't do this, right? I want to do it when I'm finished with school and come back and could have a greater impact, because I really felt exhausted. And he sat down here and he was like, the field of law is becoming saturated. There are lots of lawyers coming back, and I could show you this field. And he directed me to international relations, and it had a lot of, the language was very legalese as well. It had the components, it was very diverse, and it kind of fed my passion for liking to be in things, right? So like, I always wanted to make a contribution in different areas, and I realized that it was so diverse. I got to do economics, I got to do stats, I got to do social stuff in sociology, I got to do stuff in law, And then I still had some wiggle room to be able to dance and so forth. Because he was telling me, you become a lawyer, you can't dance like how you dancing now, you can't
Who
give,
says so?
I
Times
was
have changed.
yes, times have
changed.
changed. And maybe if I went down that path, I might have gone into intellectual property law or
I'm
something.
saying.
Because I did end up finding business law and these things interesting when I went to school. So international relations really interested me because of all those things, all those components, how well rounded it was, and the kind of thinking, the thoughts, everything. It was just so intriguing. I was really nerdy, clearly.
Okay, so I think we get a sense of what led you, what led you to poise, but it's very comforting, I think, and maybe to those listening as well, to hear you say that even as accomplished as you are, and I didn't mention before as well, folks, Desi was awarded as one of the 30 under 30 to watch, was it like 30
OECS.
in the OECS,
Yes. Yeah, to watch.
for her business, in terms of Poise SKN and what she's doing, and how that has evolved. And Des, you didn't tell the people how old you are, actually. Maybe we should have said that.
Oh my God, do we need to say that on the
Yes,
air?
you're too young to be hiding your age. Hello. Yes.
All right, I'm 26. I just turned 26 in December, so I'm 26 years of age.
All right. So she's 26 years old, has her own business, has 167 people under her tutelage, very much involved in the community as well, and changing. I mean, I'm loving that you decided to go full time, full throttle into the arts, into business in the arts, and showing people that you don't necessarily have to, straddle the line and make dance your after work thing. That it could actually be full-time employment.
Yes.
So, oh gosh, man, this wall never lights up so yet, boy.
That's a good thing.
You
Thank
have
you guys.
Nakita Belazier. Oh, Kyla is there. I'm here. Go, Desi. Nakita Belazier. So you better come to St. Lucia. Talia. Shalagan says, bring the message from Kaylan. He says, go there, Auntie Desi.
Oh wow.
Yes, Talia and Valencia, Poison Skin with lots of hats, and Shalagan.
Are they blue?
Shall look like she can just take this whole board for she wants.
She's very supportive. She's a very supportive
and Lani
sister.
again. Yeah, Desi, talk about ambitious. Yes, so. Come like I got to make sure, keep my eye on this, so make sure when it roll down, I don't lose anybody. Makisha Stanley saying, we love you, Desi, so honey, so.
Thank you.
All right, so you have quite the support coming in for you. But Desi, I want to actually hone in on something you said, because it's a concern that I have when I see young people nowadays. I think we're afraid of criticism so much that we just don't offer ourselves. We don't step up. We're afraid that people gonna say we not as good as somebody else. Or look, she gone up there and she fall. Something like that. How do you deal with criticism? Because you said that you had that to deal with. A lot of criticism. And I know you personally, and I know some things that we would have seen and experienced. How do you deal with criticism?
I think it's all about, it takes a lot of mental strength to be able to do this first. Decide whether it's constructive or destructive. And being able to put criticism into two brackets, because there are people who really don't want to see you excel, and there are people who really want to see you excel. And you have to take your time, because sometimes, initially, I used to be very defensive about what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I wasn't really as open to change and criticism as I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually took some time, invested in myself. I noticed that I was, kind of running everybody from around me because you want to be able to be someone that people could speak to, especially if you're going to be in the business of grooming. Right? So being able to look in the mirror is very important. Or being able to look in the mirror when somebody else puts it up is very, very important. So I've learned to compartmentalize everything. So destructive, constructive. What do I do with the destructive? I actually push it aside and say, okay, that person has an issue. It's not me. Let me just deal with the people over here who are telling me the right thing. So it's actually something I seek out now.
Stick a pin, because I need this to be something that we walk away with.
Okay.
Do you listen to certain people? And let's say everybody is in two categories, and Shal and everybody else who's on the wall or whatever. You have people who are in category A, and no matter what they tell you, you listen to them. And then you have people in category B, and no matter what they tell you, you don't listen to them. Is it that, or you kind of listen to some from A and some from B and kind of decipher? No, well, in the second option, then everybody is in one bag, and you listen to what they say, and you listen to the messages. Okay, good message, I'll store that. Bad message, I discard it. So, option one: do you listen to the people? Do you just value the opinions of certain people and just disregard the opinions of everybody else? Or option two: you listen to everybody. And then you just say good, bad.
Yeah, I do listen to everyone. I really don't. The people who know me knows that I don't really listen. Like, I'm not. I don't know how to. I want to say I don't want to know how to. I think so. I don't really know how to follow instructions, and it's really hard for me to stay on like a path where people say, okay, you can't do this in St. Kitts. You can't be that, right? So I do take the criticisms of everyone and put it together and try to separate them. No matter who, because my mom could tell me, I value my mother's opinion a lot, and she would tell you that I don't listen at all. And usually, sometimes what comes from that is that, oh, you didn't listen to me, but I see where you're coming from. Because it's always a case where she's not really seeing where I want to go, which is sometimes the case with a lot of people that I speak to about things that I want to do. They go like, oh, you're overly ambitious. And I go like, but I think it can work, so I'm going to do it anyway. Because they would say no. And it could be constructive criticism. They're like, no, that's not going to work because you have this, that, and that to do. Or you have these people. Or you're in this environment. And, they create limits. They create boundaries. They create so many barriers before you even try. And it's very important for me to see what people are saying, because actually a lot of the no's for me, especially in criticism, whether it's destructive or constructive, helps me to realize that I can probably maneuver through that no somehow. So I don't take no for an answer. That's the kind of personality that I have. Okay. So if you tell me no,
once you think it's worthwhile to pursue it,
I'll still do it.
Okay.
So I do take into consideration. So I don't want to say disregard completely. I do take it into consideration and try to figure out how can I. Somebody's telling me no, and usually when people tell me no, they don't just say no. They tell me no and they tell me why. So then I go, okay, how can I get over these barriers, the no barriers, and I still pursue it, and I know I'm going to hit a barrier. So I need to figure out how am I going to get there. I try not to think too far ahead and just do it. I have a friend that loves to tell me that for some of you, you're not a person that just talks. I don't just say, oh, I'm going to do this. You just go for it. And that's something a lot of people admire. I admire it in a lot of people as well. That they could just get up and say, today, I'm going to do this. And they go and they do it. Regardless of what the consequences are going to be, they know that they tried. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, they try to do the very thing that they thought about without allowing the things that people say or the criticisms to cloud their judgment or prohibit them from taking the risk that they want to take. And being a good entrepreneur, like I've read before, is being able to take risks. So even when people tell you no, you still have to try it. It's all about trial and error.
Yeah, I think a good. I totally agree with what you're saying. It's important to sort of sift through everything you hear and make a determination on whether or not this is worthwhile in taking on. But I think sometimes too there is just some value in um, you just don't know this person, don't take it on. Just don't really take it on. And like you said, because there are some people who come with a lot of biases and built-in, feelings
Yes.
about certain things, and they hear your last name is Browns and they like you automatically. They love you because your last name is Brown, so regardless of what you do,
Yes.
you're perfect.
I'm right.
So
Right.
it's sometimes I think you really have to just kind of watch the person and be like, should I be listening to this person? Not
No.
really. So you just keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, before you continue, because I've tried to share this information a lot with my promo models because we do a lot of intimate trainings. I don't just take these young people and throw them out into the world and say, here, put on some high shoes, wear a nice shirt, put on your hatters, and go. I really value sharing my experiences so that they can learn, because I don't want to say I didn't have all of that. I've had mentors, I do have mentors, but that level of intimacy that's going to help you and guide you, because when I was trying to go to school, it's only after Kennedy realized I had zero guidance in that department. He was like, let me, because I was the only person in my immediate family who went to university. I had an aunt who went and she got all the way to master's, but she lives abroad. So we never had that real connection to say she's going to guide me to be able to assist me in what I wanted to do. But it's really important that you look at the people that share information with you. What are they doing with their lives? Especially, it's what are they doing with their lives? Where is this coming from? And then you have to kind of train your mind, because I've been reading a lot of books. So I love to read. That's something I would love to share. I really, really love books. Like the first thing that I did when I was opening my studio was in my office had to have a library because I really love to read. And then I used to read like just regular stuff about politics, international relations. And then you start to realize that when you're dealing with people, you have to work on yourself. It's not just a realization, but there's this epidemic, this thing across social media about positivity and everybody pushing that thing. So you keep getting all these positive quotes. Then you start getting directed to the people who are making strides and trying to encourage others to be positive. Then you start to see the things that they're reading. Then you get interested. Then you read them. And it kind of blows your mind. I read a lot of taboo things, like books with curse words and radical beliefs about evolving yourself as an individual before you do too much with others. So that's really important for you to be able to, find out who are these people, understand where they're coming from, and you have to invest in yourself and your mental health. You do where you want to go, who you want to be, so that you could be able to make decisions on your own that, at the end of the day, it was my decision. Nobody forced me to do it. I was the one that got myself in it, and take accountability for your actions.
Okay, so invest in yourself. You advocate for reading a lot.
Yes.
But generally, and learning from those before you. Let's tune into this wall. We're going crazy. Where was I think I said Makisha Stanley. Yes, we love you, Desi. So honey, so. Poise SK into the world. My daughter loves you and Poise from Ellen Wilson.
Oh, thank you.
We have a message from Leonie Shot Nichols. I'm enjoying the show. Very ambitious for real. Wishing you nothing but the best. Yes, we have to have the confidence. Keep your head up.
Thank you.
Caps,
Thank you.
and put God first. That's Leonie Nichols. Dylan DeFreitas again. They're your friend. That got me your friend.
He's a model. He's an aerialist.
Dylan is active on the wall. Leonie Nichols again. I love me some Youth Beat. I love Freedom FN. Well, Leonie, we love you too. Thank you so much for the support. Oh, it looks like we had some audio issues, but we got that sorted out. Thanks, Azure, for being my ears on the road. Yes, and Dylan again, and Azria again, and Shal again, saying mosquito biting you, sis. I got bop.
So what?
So yes, you have your defender. I think every family has a defender. We don't have to wonder who is the defender in
My family
in
at all.
my family at all. All right, so yeah, so we've talked about the importance of investing in yourself. I like that you saw benefits into going to another environment to learn more, because you realize at least the environment, you realize the environment that you were in perhaps was kind of limiting. So you realize the importance to go to Jamaica, where things were a bit more active, and you learned and got some exposure there. Now, and you also got exposure and or knowledge from reading books. So across the theme of talking to you, and remember we're talking about influence and excellence and ambition and all these things. So I'm hearing that Desi Brown is a real advocate for increasing knowledge.
Yes. Investing in self.
Investing in yourself,
Yes.
understanding that you don't know it all,
Mm-hmm.
and you could always learn from other people. But your thing is, well, you traveled and you read books, and so you went into that environment. What sorts of other things would you really push people? Like, how could people get knowledge about things generally? Like, what sort of things would you encourage other people to do?
One of the things that I really love to do is sitting down and talking to different people. So besides traveling and reading, so reading is like very personal. The book is not gonna talk back. Traveling, you get to see stuff and you interpret things without maybe not even interacting with others. So you get excited about the environment that you're in. You just see things happening and you get inspired. It's actually a really good refresher for me to travel. But I really, really love sitting and having conversations with others, especially persons who are much older than I am. So I may have my views. We can take, for example, so we have Poison Skin. Every year we try to do a show that's going to educate people on a topic. And a part of my research is not to go on the internet and type in woke or therapy or dance therapy and that kind of thing. So all of the shows that I've done so far have been inspired by some kind of personal experience or having a conversation with somebody. That research entails sitting and talking to people, trying to figure out what are people thinking about this topic, what are their thoughts and experiences on the topic in our immediate environment. Because we go on the internet and we type in things and do little research and listen to Steve Harvey and Willow Smith and all these people living grand millionaire lives in the United States of America and experiencing all these wonderful things and love from all over the world. But we sometimes don't even get to tune into the people and the things that's happening in our space. So we did dance therapy, which had a double meaning, but we really wanted to talk about the medical issues that affected us in St. Kitts and Nevis and the region. And more so St. Kitts and Nevis. We got a lot of stats on St. Kitts and Nevis and obesity and so forth. So persons learned the major 7 illnesses that plague our environment. How did I get that information? Talk to doctors in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it wasn't like a sit down and give them a questionnaire like we did in school, but I sit down and have very intimate conversations about these topics and their experiences with patients and so forth. I did the same thing with woke. How are you? What are your feelings about the internet? And how is it affecting the people around you? How is your children? How are your children being affected? And then I have a fairly good relationship with my promo models who are very close to my age. So they're about 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, right? So I get to ask them questions and actually observe how they interact with devices, how they interact with people. And it really, really encourages me to want to talk more and go out more, because I was never outgoing. I was always reserved. I did not want to talk to people. I just wanted to read books and stay in a corner and be on a computer all day, every day.
So you had to come out of your comfort zone.
Yes. So I came out of my comfort zone, and I really do think people should talk to people, because and also we need to be able to accept that we are all different. So it also takes, in that evolution and investing in self, it's not just about talking to others and trying to impose your ideas on others, but trying to find out what's going on with other people and accepting that they are different and they're coming from a different place.
Got you. Now, one of the things that I'm gonna ask you about, like, who do you read? Like, whose work do you read? Just in case people are interested. But one of the people I read, Mel Robbins. Everybody who knows me knows I love Mel Robbins. And today she posted something on her Facebook about 3 ways to work on your goals in 10 minutes or less. And it's like, I guess maybe Desi is perhaps like Mel Robbins' child or something, because the 3 ways she has to work on your goals in 10 minutes or less. Number 1 is listen to a podcast. She says you could do this on your way to work, at the gym, anytime it fits into your schedule. They're free and you could learn incredible things. Number 2, which you actually did when you were creating Poise, is what she calls a brain dump.
Yes.
So get all your thoughts down on paper. What do you want to learn? When you're feeling stuck, go back to this and pick a place to start. And then the last thing, what she suggests towards achieving your goals in 10 minutes or less, is email someone doing what you want to do. So reach out to someone you admire, ask them a question, and they might not answer, but you never know until you ask. So Desi and rich Mel Robbins, with her shows and many books that I absolutely love, are saying basically the same thing. If you have a goal, reach out to people who are actually doing the things that you want to do. We in a kind of society where people don't always tell you, they don't want to give you the inside scoop, because then they might see you as competition. But you never know. You might meet that one person who shares something with you, even where it is, where you could go and study, where you could, what you could do to start a business or whatever it is. But reach out to people. Don't stay in your corner and expect the information to just magically appear in your lap. So that's that. But so Desi, for the next 12 minutes, because look how fast the time gone.
When you're having a good time, it usually goes by quickly.
And you see these people, use Talia and Dylan are saying, talk about the recital, advertise the recital real quick.
They might charge you for this spot, guys.
No, but so Desi has Poise, SKN. Desi has traveled the world and represented St. Kitts and Nevis. I know when you first reached out to me, it was, I reached out to you actually after you returned from Paris at the UNESCO Dance Council. Yes, International Dance Council. You made a presentation. Tell us about that, and then we go from there.
All right, so I don't know how well I'm not quite sure how I got that connection. It was after the 30 on the 30 recognition. I was approached by an individual, obviously through my email, about joining the International Council of Dance. And of course, I had my reservations because, the internet is a funny place. You have scammers and all these things. So I actually took some time and I looked it up. I reached out to them because they had like a WhatsApp number and a call-in number to try to see how legit this thing is. So year before 2018, I looked into it and I saw it was legit, and the opportunities it presented. So like being a part of a large community, because there are over 200 members from 43 countries around the world. The headquarters is based in Greece, in Athens. So I was like, okay, so I think this is something we can do because I have an interest in international relations, and my end goal with all of this for Poise Escan is really to be able to export Caribbean soft power, to do some work in, diplomacy, like cultural diplomacy. That's really a huge interest of mine, and that's something that I've been personally working on. I haven't talked about it much, but it's in my plan. That's the end game. And I was like, okay, this presents an opportunity for me to connect with persons around the globe. So I should probably join it. And then I did not look into the fact that I was the first member from St. Kitts and Nevis. And it was only after I joined, and then when they advertised or sent memos about the upcoming, because it's every 2 years they have a meeting. And they were saying, you should come because we want to induct you as the first member from St. Kitts and Nevis. And I was like, I don't think we're that important, And I thought about it. I actually sat on it for a while. I mentioned it to you. I would have mentioned it to you. And then I told my mom, and she was like, you should go. Because obviously I have to pay for this trip to Paris, by the way. And all these things. And I'm like, is it going to be worth it? And they kept messaging and they kept calling. And they insisted that I should come because they really want me to present at this forum. They want me to share about dance in St. Kitts. They want to see how they can help and that kind of thing. Because it's a very small country compared to all the other countries that's there. And what kind of impacts could St. Kitts and Nevis have? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And then I made plans to go. Then at the last minute, everything was arranged, and then I went. And when I got there, I was nervous because there were preliminary meetings before, and the room, it was a lot of people from all over speaking so many languages with huge resumes. So when they're introducing themselves, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I just opened my business 3 years ago. How am I with these people who are teaching for 20 years, who are making contributions to this? Because it's been around since 1973. They've been a part of this organization, benefiting, connecting, and all these things. What kind of impact could I really have? And then I started speaking and introducing myself, and kind of obviously using my ability to persuade others to kind of be like, from St. Kitts and Nevis, I'm this, young entrepreneur just trying to expand the industry and making my contribution and really hoping to connect with others. And everybody was gravitating towards me. And I was like, what am I doing right? I'm not sure, but I'm just talking, trying to network, because that's one thing that Skanaipa taught me, once network, right? Because you don't get anywhere if you just sit by and look
in your bubble,
right? So I started talking and connecting, and when I made an appeal for persons to, let me know how we could connect because of where we are in dance in St. Kitts and Nevis, they were excited. Cuba was the first person to jump up, knowing and learning about our close proximity to each other, which is sad to say. I've been compelled to go to the Cuban embassy to try to get some support for dance in St. Kitts and Nevis. I never did it, and now I'm really being forced to do it because she was really excited about connecting and knowing our relations and so forth. So it's like, okay, cool. Then I was asked to present at, then he told me I'm going to get a Medal of Honor, which I'm wearing. I'm currently wearing it. It's a gold pendant that represents my induction into the International Council of Dance.
Nice.
And he was like, I'm gonna make special the president. He was
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna make special introductions and introduce you, and we want you to speak. And I was like, I thought we were only speaking at preliminary meetings. I did not prepare
So
anything.
you had to do a speech at the
Yes,
general meeting?
assembly.
Okay, the
And
general
then,
assembly.
yes, so
Mhm.
I did do a speech at the general assembly, and I got crazy amount of applause, standing ovations for my presentation about my little Saint Kitts, about myself and about my business. And that two open doors, because we've been getting invitations left, right, and center to engage in whether it's exchange, student exchanges, or being up, coming to learn so that we could be able to improve where we are, and just having my dancers exhibit their talents and our culture in different parts of the world. So that experience was
See what happens
crazy.
when you like to be in things?
Yes.
You get in things.
Yes.
You cannot get in things if you don't like to be in things. So
That's
when
true.
I don't know people, she always on this and she always on that. Like, well, how else do you expect people to get? It's the people who show up get the things. So yeah, that's what happened when you like to be in things. You have Ellen Wilson just says, Jamil says, Mommy, that's my teacher. Yes, hi Ellen, and hi Jamiel. Yes, hi.
Jamiel.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I said it right. Okay, good. All right. So, you actually answered the question that I wanted to kind of close off with, because I want to know, like what's your vision? What's all of this? What's all of this for? What's the end goal? And you said basically you want to get into the diplomacy, and you want to really push dance and creative arts and so on. And then you mentioned that P word that we're gonna talk about, the politics. So I want to know, I mean, if we would ever, is it possible that one day we may see the Desi Brown on a candidate on a ballot sheet, putting up herself for election to become the Honorable Desi Brown, minister responsible for, let's see what I would give you. I would give you culture. I would give you culture, foreign affairs, not necessarily youth, because a lot of people feel like because you got culture, you must get youth and sports. Ain't necessarily so. But we give you culture, foreign affairs. I don't know. We'll see. So, what's the answer to the question? Would we ever see Desi Brown's name on a ballot paper?
I do believe so. That has, there's a video that's always being played on ZZ, I was told, when I was actually elected the chair of the Remarkable Teen Council, where I was asked what is my ultimate or future goal, and I said to be St. Kitts and Nevis's first female prime minister. And I mean, I'm 17 saying these crazy things, but it is a goal of mine to get into politics. I really do believe that I've benefited so much from this space. A lot of people continue to recognize my potential, and not just recognize my potential, but they support it. And it's amazing to me that although a lot of people seem to still think that, you're such a highly criticized young woman, how do you get through it? I'm like, there are lots of people who support what I do. And the 167 persons that are part of my company actually tells the tale that there are people supporting the work that I do, that have faith in this 26-year-old, and is looking to me to make some level of change or to create an impact in their lives, because they wouldn't be there if they didn't want to. And I honestly feel like if I could do nothing for somebody, they should never be under my care. So because there are other people, but they choose me, and it really, it warms my heart. I'm like clearly speechless. that happens. And not just the students, but their business places, because we do so much. We do, besides having classes, besides grooming girls in pageants, besides grooming promotional models, we do a lot of other things for a lot of different people all over, lots of businesses, and many persons like GMS and Express Events. they give me a platform to introduce something new.
Ultra actually gave you a platform.
And Ultra Carnival gave me a platform. They did. Kudos to them. Because they had an idea. I had the resources, and we pulled it off. It was something new, and they believed that I could do it, and they literally didn't even supervise me doing it. They were just asking, how's it going? I'm like, okay, it's good. But there are people who really have that level of faith in me, and I really want to give back and help and do more, because there aren't many young persons who have the courage to do what I'm doing. It's hard because we're faced with challenges, not just financial but cultural. And there's a change that needs to take place, and opening Poise Scan is a space for me for that. But also going up into politics is going to give me that place, a bigger platform for me to be able to
actual power.
That. Yeah. Well, yeah.
The actual power
to create change.
Because you're
really
advocating right now. You're advocating to the people with power to take action. But if you step forward, then you will actually have the power
to make that change.
Yes, you already have Shell saying vote Desi Brown. already there. And I really want to commend you for being honest and so open about your interest in politics, because I find there are a lot of young people who are interested and perhaps have ambitions, but they're afraid to actually say it, because then people start looking at you like she or he or whatever. But the second thing I want to commend you on as well is what you just said about dealing with the criticism. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of people who don't like you or support you or say mean things about you or whatnot, but I like that your strategy basically is to focus on the people who love you and support you and continue to have faith in you. In other words, bye haters. Nobody taking on you, so continue doing your thing. But she's really not bothered. And I like that. So I hope that is a very strong message from this interview. It's hard work. Entrepreneurship is hard work.
It is.
You just really have to take the step to just do it. Do the best you can with the resources you have. And also, very importantly, what you said tonight, that I'm so happy you said, even when you're scared, you still just have to do it. So you're scared, so don't wait until you feel 100% comfortable. You just have to take the step. And that's from a 26-year-old entrepreneur who has 167 people under her tutelage and continues to get the support of the business community locally, gets the support of regional bodies like the OECS and the UNESCO International Dance Council. And of course, all the other people who you will continue to interact with as well. This really is. It's been a great interview, Desi, and cool and calm like that. The hour gone.
Because I was like, wait, what? An hour? What?
Yes, it's an hour. Trust me, and I know. It's the people here. Hour? What are we gonna talk about for an hour? The hour goes by so quickly. I mean, I really want to shout out everybody who wrote up on the wall, on the feed, on the live feed on Facebook. Thank you all for tuning in. And of course, if you guys know, not just the people on the live feed, but people who are listening, if you know that there are other young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who are accomplished, and I really want to get a variety. Desi is coming from the arts side of it. I really want to get a variety to show people that you don't have to be a lawyer or a doctor to excel in St. Kitts and Nevis, because there are lawyers and doctors who are not. But look at how Desi is making her mark in the arts. Are you sure Desi does make more money than me, But oh my god. Wow. I'm just saying, but I'm joking, but there are really big misconceptions about
Yeah,
you know
there are.
certain professions, and because you align yourself with a certain profession, it means you're going to do well. But there's a great benefit in just following your passion. And whatever your passion is, the goal that we really want to push in 2020 is just excel wherever you are,
Be guided.
however you are. Yes, what
Be
you said, be guided by your
passion, power, and purpose.
your passion, your power, and your purpose.
Yes.
So that is the message from our first hour of influence with Desi Brown. Be guided by your passion, your purpose, your passion, your power, and your purpose. And with that, folks, did you have a good night? I hope you had a good night. Dylan says, amazing interview. And thank you, Leonie, again for your support. We love that you enjoyed the show. Desi, she said blessings to you.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, if you have more suggestions, Youth Beat is back, guys. So continue to hit me up with all the suggestions, positive activities happening with young people, or for young people, or by young people in St. Kitts and Nevis. We pushing positivity. We're gonna chase out the darkness with the light. There's no other way to really get it done. So this is the platform for you. If you're a young person, you're doing something positive, you're trying to get your little your business started and everything, you just want a little platform to let people know you're here and you exist. This is a place. If you're shy and you don't like to talk, walk with somebody else who can, be a little crutch to help you out. And, don't worry about sounding perfect or being perfect, guys. This is how you grow. So, and I really want you guys to take Desi's advice to really take advantage of opportunities and chances to network and grow, because I know there are so many people that have connected with each other through youth beats. Somebody's looking for a cake, a bake or something, and hey, I interviewed somebody who does the same thing that you're looking for, put you together, bam, new partnerships. So let people know you exist. We won't find you in your little corner unless you come out. So with that, folks, keep that in mind. LJ, I wonder if I could remember me saying for 2020. And I will try, as I always try to end at the end of every show, and remind you that one person can't do everything to make the world a better place, but every person can do at least one thing. So just find your thing and just keep doing it. And with that, folks, I'll say good night and see you next week. Bye.
The sound of St. Kitts Nevis. Freedom FM, 106.5 FM.
Come children, say it loud. Make them know we're still black and proud. Scabba-dabba-dab.
I'm black and I'm proud. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Welcome to the Great Black Experience, a time when we reflect, consolidate, and advance our story and not his story, recalling the greatness and glory of black civilization and the black man. It's the GBE on Freedom FM.